Good morning. We are back for another no bounce movement session on the rebounder. So what that means is that we are not going to leave the rebounder very much, if at all. So let's go ahead and dive in. So we are starting out on the rebounder. It is a little darker here this morning. I think it's about to rain. So it is darker in this room and you can totally see a big old shadow. It looks like there's two of me. So enjoy the double cueing as we go. So you're on your rebounder. If you want to attach your support, you could absolutely do that. Or if you wanted to bring over a nice sturdy chair or piece of furniture that you could reach over to and grab onto, that is another option. And we are just hanging out, starting nice and slow and letting the body get used to the bounce. This is one of my favorite spaces to be in. Just nice and easy. And that's where we're starting today. So feet are active. If you take a peek a couple videos back, I do a whole little warm up that you can do for your feet before you even get on the rebounder. And that is super important. We want our feet to have as much contact, as much ability to make contact with the ground, whatever surface we happen to be on right now. That's the rebounder, but once you get off the rebounder, you're going to be on the floor. We need our feet to be able to talk to the surfaces that we are standing on or walking on. And so that little workout, I know you can link videos. Maybe I'll see if I can figure out how to link a video so you can just click right into it. That workout gives you some really great exercises to go into for your feet. So we are not doing that specifically today, but I do want you to see if you can bring even more awareness into your feet. So instead of thinking about your body or your arms or me even, see if you can direct your awareness down to your feet. And as you do that, see if you can spread the toes independent of each other. If you've ever gotten a pedicure, they put those little things in between your toes so that it's easier for them to paint the nail. Imagine as if you were trying to put something in between your feet. I watched a video the other day of this woman taking her hand and basically threading her fingers in between her toes. So I guess there's lots of different ways that you could put space in between your toes. And then, as you're hanging out, we're going to keep staying with the feet. That's how important they are. I want you to see if you can notice where your weight distribution is in your foot. So if we think about a triangle, right? Ball of big toe, ball of pinky toe, and then the heel. And can you feel like you are pressing evenly through those three different spaces as you're bouncing? Just kind of hanging out. We're not doing anything crazy. There's no wild choreography. You are just noticing and seeing if you can shift. If you notice, right, sometimes people roll to the outside edges of their feet, like the pinky toe edge of the foot. Sometimes people collapse in and their knees start moving closer to each other. And these things are likely happening not with conscious awareness. People are not making themselves, I am right now, making myself do this, but people are likely, if they're walking like that, they're not consciously doing that space. So we are now consciously seeing if we can shift into different spaces of the feet. Okay, so that was your second one. Ball of big toe, ball of pinky toe, and the heel. And now we're going to see if you can add a little bit more into your press. So it's called plantar flexion. It's when the top of the foot pushes down into the floor so that the heel begins to come up and off of the floor. You do not need to do that full shape, right? Fully plantar flex almost looks like a ballerina on point. You don't obviously need to do that. We are not ballerinas. Well, maybe you are. I am not a ballerina, but we don't need to do that. But I do want you to see if now you can push a little bit more through the balls of the toes. So all 5 toes, and almost as if you were trying to lift the heel. I am getting a little bit of a lift in my heel. It's totally fine if you do too. It is also totally fine if you do not. So even if the foot stays flat, but you know that you are still pushing a little bit more into the balls of the toes. Okay, let's stay here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, loosen that up. Just kind of bring yourself to a soft bounce. Come back into the rest of your body now. You spent a few minutes getting into the feet, which is so super important. And now I want you to bring your awareness up into the upper body, so the shoulders and the abdomen, and even into like the head and the face. Apparently that's the face and the head. Seeing if you can imagine that your spine was growing as long as possible. So you can probably tell my ceiling is fairly low. If I jumped high enough, I could probably hit my head, so I'm not gonna do that. But I am imagining almost as if the crown of my head, all the way up at the top of my head, was gonna touch the ceiling. So you may imagine that same thing, and then drawing the abdominals in, pulling the bottom of your rib cage under, so that you feel a little bit of abdominal engagement. And then let your arms be active but loose. So see how my arms, my double arms, I guess you can see my shadow today. See how my arms are sort of moving away from my body with the bounce. Just nice and loose, but they're active. I'm not totally just wobbly. You can do that if you wanted to, but I want you to see if you can keep a little bit more activity and just create a really nice rhythmic bounce. Okay, hanging out here. So we got our feet, and we got our upper body. And now just make sure that you've got a nice, steady breath. Inhales and exhales as you go, particularly when we're focusing on something, or if we're trying something new, if you're a beginner and you're just starting out, or even just when your brain gets active. I just gave you a whole bunch of cues, different things to be thinking about throughout the body. And so when the brain gets active, sometimes we forget to breathe. So I have learned in all of these years of teaching people to always remind them to breathe. Even people that I've been working with for years, I know they know how to breathe, and I still throw that extra little reminder. So making sure that you've got nice inhales and exhales as you go. And then let's add a little bit of movement today into the upper body. So you're gonna stay with this nice soft bounce the whole entire time. And when you're ready, I want you to start to reach the arms up and overhead. Yeah? So if I did not feel comfortable staying with the bounce while I go with that alternating arms, I could always bring it all the way down and march if I wanted to, and then step. Let me see if I can get my coordination as I go. And then step. You could do a super soft bounce. So there's nothing about my feet that is leaving. And then press. Or if it feels okay to you, maybe there's just the tiniest little hover. If when I'm lifting, you could probably stick a piece of paper underneath my foot, but probably not much more than that. But the back of my heel is coming off of my mat, and that's totally fine. So you're gonna choose the option that works best for you, and we're gonna stay here for 30 seconds. Inhales and exhales. All the way in through the nose, all the way out through the mouth. 15, we're just about halfway. Just making sure my mic is still on. And you've got 5, nice and steady here. 3, 2, and 1. All right, come on back to that nice soft bounce. Let the arms go. We'll add in another movement in just a moment. Do whatever you need to do in between. If you liked some of those cues that we were talking about at the very beginning with the feet, you could certainly throw those in. Those are great awareness builders, right? What we talked about at the beginning, the 3 points on the toes, the pressing into the balls of the toes, those are things that you can also think about on solid surface as well. Okay, now we're gonna go both arms up. So almost like a half jack with just the arms. So same thing. If this does not feel amazing for your body, you are totally always adjusting for your body. You could bring it all the way down, right? I soften my bounce even more, and now I have to think about where I'm moving my arms, but softening the bounce even more, or even walking it out, right? I can always step and move the arms. I like just a little bit more of a bounce. I have to be mindful of my ceiling, but just a touch. Again, you could probably stick a piece of paper underneath my feet. I'm not crazy bouncing here. And you have the option to soften it even more so, or take it to that slow walk. Okay, let's go for 5-ish. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, soften it out. Big full inhale. And big full exhale. We're gonna do 2 more shapes. I want you to think about the next one like open and closing of doors. Your doors being your arms. Your arms being your doors. Yeah? So same options apply. Soften that bounce as much as you need to. Your feet do not need to leave the rebounder. If this does not feel amazing for you, you could go back to the other shapes that we had and stay with that. We're gonna stay for another 30 seconds. You could go one arm at a time. That would be really interesting for coordination. One side. If it feels okay to you, stay with those double arms. Remember, you have the option to totally soften the bounce or even march in place. You have 10 seconds. Keep that breath for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, last one here is a little bit more full body. You are going to twist. So what that means is you're going to move your feet, your hips perpendicular to your shoulders. Your shoulders stay still. Your hips go back and forth. This does not need to be massive. I could make it real little. Just back and forth, enough to create a sway. Or I could go a touch bigger, add my arms, and get that nice swing. We've got 30 seconds, and then we'll close it out. These jumps are awesome, right? We're still getting the benefit of the bounce, and yet no crazy choreography, tons of options to be able to decide to make it your own. We've got 5, 3, 2, and 1. All right, loosen it up. Whatever feels good to you in this space. Nice loose bounce. I like to really let my body, almost like become jello. You could do that too if that feels good to you. If not, you're just hanging out for a few moments. Seeing how you feel on the other end of the bounce, right? How you started. You might check in with those feet again. You might check in with the length of your spine again. Imagining the crown of the head reaching up towards the ceiling. We've got another 30 seconds or so. I want you to hang in with me. Nice full inhales, nice full exhales here. Keep bringing your awareness back into your body. We are so used to just go, 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 go. And let's bring it back inside for 10, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, slow yourself all the way down. Spread your toes, feel your feet root into your mat. You could also step off the rebounder if you wanted to, and go ahead and take a big, nice inhale. Stretch those arms all the way up, and exhale. If both arms do not feel good, use one. You could always hold on to some sort of support if you wanted to, and exhale. And one more, big reach, stretch all the way up, and exhale. Nice work, guys. I'll see you in the next video. I hope you enjoyed me and my shadow. Bye.